Efrat, welcome to Inside Bitcoin. Happy to have you.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
My pleasure. So look, we really wanted to rock into CBDCs with you today. So, and I know you've been an expert in this field. So tell me, how do you see CBDCs progressing around the world right now?
So, CBDC, the way I see it, are part of a larger smorgasbord, a buffet of different digital monetary items on the menu. And some countries will implement retail CBDC, which is what most people are afraid of and or rightfully resist. And some won't. Some countries will not go ahead and implement retail CBDCs. And we're hearing more and more countries speaking about that because they are feeling the backlash from the public. But in the end of the day, 130 countries are experimenting with CBDCs right now. The wider point of view on this topic is to look at this decade, 2020 to 2030, as the significant decade in reshaping basically the next Bretton Woods, the next race to announce the world's reserve currency. Would it be the US or not? Would it be China? Would it be another empire? I believe that the US will not give up without a fight, and that the US plan is to continue being the world's reserve currency with the US dollar, but this time digitally. And therefore, we're just in the middle of this game. It is shaping up. It is going to have many different types of digital instruments, starting from national stable coins to, which are, by the way, completely legitimized at the moment by the new administration in the US. So you're going to see stable coins, you're going to see more tokenizations of assets, deposits, you're going to see wholesale CBDC projects, which are the way for commercial banks and central banks to communicate with each other and with other countries. You're going to see KYC Bitcoin in many shapes and forms, as long as the country or the state can identify you and permission you what to do with your Bitcoin, they will probably experiment with it as well. And you're going to see some retail CBDC products as well as ETFs. So we're going to see different types of identified, permissioned digital monetary products alongside cash and non KYC Bitcoin that are probably going to be less and less legitimate as time goes. And I think that now is a time where we're going to see all these little battles and things shaping up in the world. I believe for sure by the end of this decade, we're going to know what the next monetary system is going to look like, if not before in the next couple of years.
It certainly looks that way as we look around the world. Can you tell us a little bit more about specific pilot projects that are happening?
Right. So I think in countries like India, China, and in the EU, and even little country of Israel, you will see them continuing on with the retail CBDCs that they've been heavily invested in and working on in the EU. It's the digital euro that is about to be launched by the end of 2025 if they get all the legislative approvals. They're going to lead the way in retail CBDCs. In China, it may be via Alipay and WeChat, which is similar, by the way, to what Elon Musk wants to do with X to make it the app of everything, including payments. So who knows where this is going to go. And in Israel, a similar architecture to what has been discussed in other countries, which is a two-tier architecture where the central bank is lending money to the commercial banks or to other financial institutions like supermarkets or big retail chains, and they can issue their own CBDCs or their own digital tokens, basically. Direx in Brazil is shaping up as well. So I think Brazil is going to continue leading the way in CBDC. The US, I believe, will lead in KYC Bitcoin, different types of Bitcoin in an identified manner. And maybe Thailand as well, with the recent Phuket pilot program to allow for KYC Bitcoin in Phuket. So that's an interesting one to watch. And in terms of national stablecoins, I think we're going to see Nigeria, places like Australia, the US as well, with the legislation right now in progress, and Hong Kong to probably adopt national stablecoins. And I believe that once they do, many other countries will follow.
Wow. I mean, it's just a tidal wave that's coming.
Yeah.
What is this relationship that the central bank digital currencies have with Ripple?
Ripple. Okay, so Ripple is an interesting topic. I think many of the Bitcoin OGs know that in almost every cycle of Bitcoin, you see the Ripple, the XRP army coming back and starting to push Ripple again. And I think this year we've seen it once again, where Ripple is actively advocating for Ripple in the national stablecoin and against Bitcoin in quite an aggressive way. And I've done a whole thread and wrote about Ripple to show basically that what they're working on, or what they have, is basically a white label technology of CBDC and stablecoins for governments and central banks. That's their claim to fame. Yes, it's immediate, it's fast. There is interoperability between the different players that are on the Ripple network, but essentially it's centralized. It's a digital fiat. There's nothing special about Ripple. And when you show people that basically when you empower Ripple, whether it's through advocating for them or buying their token, their XRP, you're essentially building your own prison cell, because they're going to be the ones laying down the infrastructure with different types of governments and central banks around the world, which they've already started doing. They have a few pilots implemented around the world. Whether they've been so successful, whether their product is great, who knows, but they're pushing it, and they have excellent marketing, and they have people sitting there working really hard to come up with the next campaign of how they can promote the XRP coin. And yeah, I think Ripple is a real phenomena. I've warned about them in the past, saying that they're in bed with governments and central banks. But once again, people fall for the numbers go up, and they don't want to learn how money works, and the fact that there is no bottom to their issuance, and they can just print as much tokens as they want. People just fall for it every time because it's a cheap token, and they're falling into the shitcoinery. I guess that's the opportunity cost, right? That's how much it's going to cost them to learn, just like Milei now that we're seeing him learning. So,
Efrat, thank you for joining us on Bitcoin Center. Wealth of information. We appreciate you. If you want to hear more from Efrat, join us on our long form podcast where she goes into detail on a lot of these projects. Make sure to like and subscribe so that you never miss a great guest like this. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
So you've heard Bitcoin is the new gold rush by now. As world leaders on all sides have endorsed it as the future of money, and now you're looking to get started, we'll show you how. It's actually easier than you think. First, go to your nearest Byte Federal ATM and turn your cash to coin. Byte Federal has over 1,200 locations around the country with the highest daily limits. Go to our website, bytefederal.com, to find the nearest ATM to you. Log in to any wallet, then create an account, deposit your US cash, and instantly convert it to Bitcoin. That's it. We are the only US manufacturer and operator in the Bitcoin ATM industry, and our US-based live customer service is second to none. Go on, give it a whirl, and don't get left behind. Click the link below.